Why do some people maintain rock-solid drive for years, while others are stuck in a loop of anxiety and procrastination? We usually blame things like willpower or personality. But those terms are too vague. They don't give you a specific point to grab onto, a mechanism to change. The truth is, your mood, your drive, and your mental energy are dictated by a few key substances in your body. This isn't metaphysics, it's neurochemistry. It's a measurable biological mechanism. Understanding how this internal OS works is more effective than trying 100 new productivity hacks. Let's start with dopamine. It's the most misunderstood one. Most people call it the pleasure hormone, but that's a mistake. Dopamine hits hardest when your brain predicts a reward is about to arrive. It's not about the prize, it's about the proximity to the prize. The chase is always more electric than the catch. Think of a hunter. The peak adrenaline happens right before pulling the trigger, not when the prey hits the ground. It's why you can pull all-nighter on a project with total focus, but the moment the contract is signed and the money hits your account, you feel a sudden, massive void. You are forced to hunt for the next target immediately. This isn't greed. It's a prediction mechanism forcing you to stay in hunting mood. It drives you to acquire, not to enjoy. It is the fuel for the fire, not the destination. But here's the trap. If you live on a high-frequency stimulation, scrolling videos, instant pains, jumping between tasks, your brain quietly moves the goalposts. Things start used to give you a spark start to feel flat. Reading becomes a chore. Deep working feels too slow. Eventually, you only feel anything when the stimulus is faster and louder. This isn't a bad mood. It's a worn-out circuit. Serotonin is the opposite. It doesn't create those heart-pounding peaks. It determines how deep your low go. It has a massive, underrated job. It's how you perceive your social status. People with steady serotonin have an internal anchor. They don't need constant validation. They have a grounded sense of, I'm okay, I'm solid. When serotonin drops, that stability vanishes. Your brain starts scanning everything as a compression signal. Someone got a promotion, someone bought a car, someone's kid's a genius. Every bit of news whisper, you are falling behind. This isn't just envy, it's the serotonin system doing what it was built for. It's just being triggered in a world it wasn't meant for. Endorphins only shows up when there's the resistance. No pain, no activation. When you are at mile 3 of a run and every muscle says, stop, but you push through. That sudden, strange satisfaction is endorphins. It's a physical reality. The real value isn't the runner's high. It's the long-term code your brain reads. Resistance equals reward. Once that link is live, your view of hard work changes. Difficulty is no longer a signal to quit. It's evidence that evolution is happening. 3 other players determine your system efficiency. GABA is the brake. It quiets down the noise. Without it, you can't turn off. Relaxation feels like a foreign concept. This keeps your stress hormone high, meaning your system stays in a state of constant overload. Your burning feels just too idle. Oxytocin is your trust radius. It builds the bond, but also the barrier. People with a narrow radius only trust a tiny circle, make large-scale growth nearly impossible. The 85-year Harvard study found one thing. Happiness isn't about money. It's about relationship quality. It's how your nervous system offloads its maintenance costs. Acetylcholine is pure curiosity. Dopamine drop breaks once you reach the goal. Acetylcholine doesn't. It just needs a state of I don't know yet. Every answer creates a new question. This is how guys like AT.印鑫 worked. It wasn't discipline. It was an endless supply of curiosity. These aren't just the moods. They shape your value. Dopamine doesn't care about you chase. It just wants you to chase. What you chase is your value system. Steady serotonin means you don't need to win to feel worthy. You move toward you would want to be, rather than running away from being a loser. Avoidance-based driving is weak. Once the state is gone, you stop moving. Now the core issue is drive and execution are different. Drive has 3 layers: start, maintain, and recovery. Most think it's the start is the problem. It's not. The real collapse happens in maintenance. Maintenance fails at a very specific point, where the newness of the goal is gone, but the results are still months away. This is dark middle ground. The dopamine is gone because there's no signal that you are about to win. How do you survive this? You don't use willpower, you use your endorphins system. If you train yourself to find the reward in the resistance itself, you don't need a trophy to keep going. The act of the pushing becomes the feedback. The third layer, recovery, is the most dangerous. Failure hits the brain like a physical threat. Your rational brain gets sidelined. Your survival brain takes the wheel. This is why people make their worst decision right after a loss. The poison of a failure depends on how you code it. If you say, I failed because I'm not good enough, the system shuts down. If you say, I failed because I lack of this specific data, acetylcholine takes over. The failure becomes a data point. Your brain maintenance job isn't to hit goals, it's to keep you safe. If a task feels high risk, your system will block you. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's self-protection. The more you care, the more you stall, because the fear of failure is higher. The fix? Lower the risk. Break the goal into tiny pieces. Your brain won't fetch you on a small move. Once you are moving, the system takes over. But the real hack is identity. I want to work out has to approved by your brain every time. I am a person who trains is a default setting. There is a zero friction to start. The biggest blocks aren't in what you do. They are in how you define yourself. If your internal code says, I never stick to things, every effort is a struggle against your own identity. The only way to rewrite that code is through evidence, one by one. Stack up small wins until your brain has no choices but to believe the new definition. No shortcuts, just repetition. Your body doesn't lie. How your internal system runs is exactly how your life looks on the outside.